Hi, I'm Michaela Scores, and my personal narrative is about a day in my life that I will never forget. Through my Christian journey, there's been ups, there's been downs, there's been good and bad days, but every day I try to be better. There's always, going to be one day that stands out in your life. And for me, I was in 6th grade. A little back history is I have several medical problems. And in 6th grade, I blew out a lung. I'd coughed so much from pneumonia and bronchitis. When I went to the hospital, they spent several hours trying to diagnose anything. We didn't know what was wrong. My cheeks were swollen, my neck was swollen, and I sounded like Donald Duck. I was terrified. The doctors came in and said, "We don't know what's wrong, but you probably won't make it through the night." When you touched my cheeks and my neck, it felt like popcorn was under my skin. Every doctor in the hospital came in to touch my neck and feel it. They'd never seen something like that. There was a resident who came in, and she was my lifesaver. She had just written a term paper over a condition called subcutaneous emphysema, meaning I'd coughed so many times and so violently that I tore a hole in my lung, and the air was escaping my lung and traveling up due to gravity. After that day, or after that diagnosis, everywhere I went I had a crash cart next to me because we didn't know when my last breath would be. The doctors informed me and my family that I wasn't going to make it to the next morning, to call my family to come see me. At the time, my brother was in high school. He was a freshman, had a huge test the next day. I told him not to worry. I was immediately sent to ICU after they ran several tests, and I convinced the doctors to let me go in the family room where I could use the phone. I called my brother and told him that I'd prayed about it. He was praying about it. Everybody we knew was praying. It was all over the internet. Everybody was praying that I would be okay, that no matter what happened, I would be with God, and that's all that mattered. Not to be sad, not to worry, just study for your test and make an A. Several days later, after I'd surprised doctors, my lungs started to clog with the medicine and everything else. My lungs started to heal itself, and my O2 saturation, meaning I was getting more oxygen. My levels were starting to raise back closer to normal levels. So I was allowed to go in the family room again to call my brother. After I talked to my brother and we prayed, a man approached me and my dad and just said he wanted to thank me. I was like, I don't know why you're thanking me. You're welcome. But it wasn't. His daughter had been transported by life flight from Oklahoma Children's Hospital to Texas Children's Hospital. And they didn't know what was wrong with her. He had just lost his job. They didn't know how they were going to pay for any of the medical bills. But when he was in the room a few nights before, he heard me talking to my brother, praying and saying everything would be okay. He said he left the waiting room that night and went in there with his wife and told her everything would be okay and that they said a prayer. His daughter also had a condition where she wasn't supposed to make it very long. The day he came to thank me in the waiting room, his daughter had just received her release paperwork, and they were headed home, and they'd received a scholarship at Texas Children's where somebody was paying the medical bills for the rest of the year. This day stands out to me because you never know who's listening or who's around you, and you can impact anybody, even in 6th grade.